Get my six. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid, the absolute most popular homesteading channel on the entire internet that has nothing to do with homesteading. True story. Welcome. I'm sitting in a different spot today than usual. Here's my bamboo. I've got some bamboo. I'm up at the head of our pond. Let me show you this view. Been working hard all day. Wanted to sit by the water. There's a house. Here's my view. I want to share this with you. I'm up here on this end of the pond instead of, well, I haven't made too many videos from the pond, but listen, like the title says, I am so lost. True story. Just want to show you this view. Isn't it a glorious day? I've been working on trees today. Unfortunately, we had a Leland cypress part of our privacy hedge suffering from dieback, and it was a lot of times they'll overcome that, but the infection was too bad and it was spreading. Listen, as hard as it is to do when that happens, you got to get rid of them. So I had to cut one down. I'll be replacing it with eastern red cedars. It's an indigenous plant, not as susceptible to disease, but TMI, right? Yeah, watch for him, her, it, or they back here. You never know what you may or may not see. Now, when we make those videos, it's usually way up there in a different part of the woods, up on top of the hill. But I am so lost, and I'm happy for it. Let me share this with you. The bullfrogs are already laughing. This is where I tell a lot of my joke videos from on our Facebook page, Sick Twisted Humor. I know a lot of you don't do Facebook. I know I let them for years for different reasons, but join us over there where we are already 632,000 followers and growing. Between that page and this channel, we're only like 40,000 fans away from hitting 1 million. Something I never thought would happen, and something that would have never happened had I not gotten lost. I'm telling you, getting lost is a wonderful thing. So, two true stories, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Number one, this is an example. Okay, so when I came back to Charlottesville 7 years ago I've been in the Philippines for 6 years. I was in Iraq before that. I lived here previously, though, and I left to go to those places. Was able to come back, was fortunate enough and blessed enough to be able to come back because it's a wonderful place. I love this town. It is my adopted hometown. And wonderful people. We got UVA. I'm not an alumnus, but I'm a big fan. I support the home team. We love going to the football games. My whole family, my wife and our son. So happy to be back. So I was at a birthday party for a kid that was in class with my son. We got here 3 months before my son started kindergarten. He's now in middle school. He's in 6th grade. I can't believe it. He's taller than his mother, and he's almost as tall as me. So I was talking to a guy at the party, another parent about my age. I'm going to be 50 this year. I know. I look like I'm like 48, not 49. But he was about the same age. So I asked him, just a kind of small talk because we were standing beside each other. I said, so what brought you to Charlottesville? And he said, well, I came here to go to graduate school, and, well, you know the rest. Well, I didn't know the rest, but I didn't want to look like a dumb hillbilly from West by God, Virginia, where I actually grew up. And so I was like, oh, yeah, all right. Then he asked me what brought me to Charlottesville. And this is a true story. And I tell people this. So I tell him, well, when I was a senior in college, right before I graduated from college, ready to go to grad school myself, I found out that my girlfriend was pregnant. So instead of going to college, I went to work. Right? And so I ended up working in this little town in Buena Vista, Virginia, in a lumber mill, and it sucked. It was stacking lumber for 50 hours a week, and that wasn't it. I knew that wasn't it for me, and it's a cute little town, but that wasn't the job I wanted. And so I said, my wife at the time, this is my ex-wife now, I said on the weekends we would explore Virginia and try to find out where we wanted to live. Well, there was a particular weekend when we were going to go to Waynesboro, check out Waynesboro, Virginia, but we missed the exit. So right after the exit, there was a sign that said Charlottesville, 18 miles. And so I said, well, let's just go check out Charlottesville. My ex-wife was like, okay. And the whole time I'm telling the story, this guy's going, I'm like, well, So it was like mid to late October, and where I grew up, it was snowing by then, right? I remember deer hunting with a bow in a tree stand in early October, opening weekend of bow season, and it was snowing so hard I couldn't see 10 feet in front of my face. Well, we pull into Charlottesville, and somehow we took the exit in the streets that meandered us to the downtown mall, the historic Charlottesville downtown mall. I think it's the oldest in the country of its type, built in 1976. They like bricked up the original Water Street. It's not Main Street, but it was like the main street, but it's called Water Street, I think. So we got out, and everybody's wearing t-shirts and shorts, and we were like, this is the place. I don't care what we have to do. This is where we're going to live. And the guy was like, huh. And he looked over and says, oh, Diane. And he starts walking over to talk to someone else. I'm like, what's wrong with my story? Well, the problem is my story is true, and it was real because so am I. I've told that story to a lot of folks, and they've had the same. They're like, so you got here by accident? Yeah. Most of what I've done in life has been completely by accident. All right. Now, here comes the second true story. Last week, me, my wife, and our son went on like a 4-day vacation with some friends of ours, a man and a woman and their son, who is good friends with our son. They've been in class together since first grade. And I have more respect for this man. That's another story for another time. And I love his wife to death. She's a sweetheart. And she and my wife they're best of friends. My wife has several best friends. She's one of them. And me and this guy, he's one of my best friends here. We went on vacation for 4 days together at Cape Charles, which is on the Virginia Eastern Shore. Beautiful place. If you live anywhere in Maryland, Virginia, and you're not too far away, and it's worth flying in if you live far away. But it's really neat. There's a 20-mile bridge you have to cross to get there. It's 20 miles. There's actually 2 tunnels in it. It's the Chesapeake Bay Bridge and Tunnel System, which starts at Virginia Beach. You cross the mouth of the bay until you hit the southern point of the peninsula, and that peninsula runs all the way up to Baltimore, Maryland. So if you live in Maryland, you can drive down there, but Cape Charles is down towards the bottom. Well, my family and I camped in a tent. Our friends stayed in a cabin. It was at a KOA campground, which is on the beach. Best KOA campground we've ever stayed at. Not sponsored, but it's just true. And in his bedroom, I was hanging out with my buddy. We had a long day. We went and ate. We were on the beach all day. Then we went and ate fresh seafood at a place called, I think it was called Cape Charles Oyster Farm. Delicious food, wonderful service, reasonable prices. We only spent $300, which for 6 people, fresh seafood, that ain't so bad. We're in his bedroom. He's kind of chillaxing on his bed, getting ready to go to sleep. I'm getting ready to leave and go to our tent. And I noticed there's a sign above his bed that reads, "Not all who wander are lost." And I said, Mike, my friend's name is Mike. I said, there's so much truth to that sign. It's like, and you don't really appreciate that until you start to get older and you realize, I haven't always been on a set course, but I haven't always been lost either, because I've kind of known where I wanted to be. Sometimes I've gotten off course, and sometimes I didn't quite end up where I wanted to be, but I know I'm kind of going in the correct general direction. Well, the next day, I noticed on a car of the tent campers parked beside us as I'm coming out of the shower house. Those places are wonderful. It was $48 a night to camp on the beach. They have showers, they have flushing toilets, they have a general store with food in it and drinks, adult beverages and soft drinks. You can rent golf carts, kayaks. They're wonderful places. Again, not sponsored, just being honest. A lot of KOAs we've stayed at in the past, like down in Savannah, Georgia, last month when we went down there for 5 days, it was $30 a night. So you pitch your tent, you sleep on your airbeds, you got all the amenities you need, and it's so cheap. You can spend 5 nights in a city where ordinarily you'd spend more than that for 1 night in a hotel. So that's how we're doing it. That's how we roll. But there was a car, and they had a sticker on it that said, "Not all that wander are lost." And I was like, how ironic is that? But I noticed there was some more writing underneath it. So I get closer and I look and I read the whole sticker. And the whole sticker says, "Not all who wander are lost, but I probably am." And I laugh so hard because that's me. That's this guy. I've spent the majority of my life having an idea of where I want to be. But here's the deal. Here's what sums it up. I believe that when your head and your heart is in the right place at the same time, you will not fail. Okay? I mentioned I'm 40,000, me and my wife and our son, we're 40,000 fans away from hitting 1 million followers and subscribers between our two social media gigs. That was never planned. That was purely by accident, and it was all about just trying to pay the mortgage on this gorgeous place that we're blessed to have, 6 acres in Central Virginia, right outside of Charlottesville, and put food on our table. It was about providing a lifestyle for our family that 99% of the world would be envious of. Not so we could say, hey, look at us and look at you. It's because we've been third world poor. We were down and out in the Philippines. My wife knew nothing but third world poverty until she was 28 years old. I knew it for a couple of years over there, and let me tell you. Well, and that's another time for another story. But what I will tell you is I have experienced complete nothingness as far as resources goes. Not having food, not having money to buy food, having to beg and borrow, but not steal, but be stolen from because of the outrageous interest you pay to people who are loaning you food in countries you're not from, who thinks you're rich because of where you're from. We have experienced hardship, and we don't now. So it's always been about what do we need to do to avoid hardship. We overshot the goal. I mean, we shot for the moon and we missed and we hit the stars. And I am so grateful to have spent my entire adult life wandering around being lost, because things wouldn't have turned out this grand if I had planned them. So my story to that yuppie, oh, this is funny, to follow up with that. I saw him at another birthday party about 3 months later. I said, hey man, how's grad school going? He goes, grad school? I'm not in grad school. I said, well, you said you came to Charlottesville to go to grad school at UVA. He goes, yeah, that was 20 years ago. I was like, oh man, you just figured out I don't know the rest. He turned around, Peter, hey, to go talk to someone else. I don't even know what that means. And you know the rest. I'm so funny. I don't know the rest, but I don't know. I found out later he's teaching at some very high-priced private school, making a good salary and all that. He could have told me that. Came here and went to grad school. Now I got a job at, such and so school. I'm not going to say their name, and life's good. But I guess I was supposed to know the rest. Whatever. I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I just don't know. I'm glad I don't know what's around the next turn. I'm glad I don't know what topic I'm going to talk about on the next video I make. But listen, if you feel lost out there, consider yourself lucky. I'll tell you this. The people that say they plan their life to go just as it has, especially the ones that are older, I call bullshit. Hey, we all know this. Most people are married for the exact same reason I was married the first time. And this time. Because they got pregnant. People try to hide their mistakes with stories that are not true. Stop. It doesn't matter, man. Just tell the truth. Because you know what? If people are going to walk away from you, like that yuppie at the birthday parties walked away from me because of the truth, that lets me know that's somebody shouldn't be part of my life. I'm real. If you're not, keep going, man. There's plenty of yuppies out there that you can hang out with and whatever. I'm going to go camping with my buddies that are real. It's just, I'm getting off track. Listen, not all who wander are lost. But I probably am. And I couldn't be more grateful. See you for more next time. This started out as a homesteading channel. We were like raising rabbits and growing green beans. Nobody watched. But I'd sit in my chair in the woods and talk about life like this, and we went viral and got millions of views, and now we have 310,000 subscribers. 630,000 subscribers at Sick Twisted Humor on Facebook. Folks, I'm telling you, there's a premium. There's a premium for being real. See you for more next time at Homesteading Off the Grid. the most popular, the most successful homesteading channel on the entire internet that has nothing to do with homesteading.